All right, picture this. Hollywood in the late 2000s, a time of over-the-top fashion, tabloids dominating every checkout aisle, and social media just starting to turn celebrities into 24/7 reality shows. Enter the Bling Ring, a group of suburban teens with sticky fingers, expensive taste, and apparently a knack for treating Google Maps like their own personal heist planner. Meet the cast of this Ocean's 11 wannabe crew. Rachel Lee, the ringleader and the self-proclaimed fashion connoisseur. Nick Prugo, the loyal sidekick with a penchant for oversharing. Alexis Nyers, whose claim to fame was being on a reality TV show literally during the heists. And a supporting cast of masterminds who were just as eager to live the high life without the pesky part about earning it. Hooked already? Smash that subscribe button and stick with Talescape. So, their story begins in Calabasas, California, a wealthy suburb where everyone drives luxury cars and house keys are apparently just a suggestion. Rachel Lee, a high schooler with an eye for designer brands, decided that window shopping wasn't cutting it. Why admire Louboutin heels through glass when you could, just take them? And who better to target than Hollywood's elite? Step 1, pick a celebrity. The group would scour tabloids, TMZ, and Instagram posts to figure out where their favorite stars lived, and more importantly, when they'd be out of town. If Paris Hilton posted a photo from a nightclub in Vegas, it was like waving a green flag. Step 2, Google Maps. Yes, they literally looked up addresses and used satellite views to plan their break-ins. Forget elaborate blueprints or Mission Impossible-style gadgets. These kids were pulling off heists with free Wi-Fi and a search engine. Their first victim? None other than Paris Hilton, the queen of 2000's excess. Now, you'd think someone like Paris with her millions in mansions would have state-of-the-art security. Nope. Her front door was unlocked. That's right. The Bling Ring walked right in, took whatever they wanted, clothes, cash, jewelry, and strolled out like they were shopping at a designer boutique. They even went back multiple times because, apparently, why not? And that was just the beginning. From there, the group moved on to Audrina Patridge, Rachel Bilson, and Orlando Bloom, to name a few. Their haul included everything from Rolex watches and Louis Vuitton luggage to custom-fit jeans and even lingerie. The total value? A cool $3 million in stolen goods. What made their operation so successful wasn't just their audacity, it was how simple they kept things. They didn't smash windows or disable alarms, they just walked in, grabbed the goods, and left. The celebrities, for their part, didn't even notice half the time. When they did, it was usually weeks later after spotting their stolen Chanel bag on TMZ. By the time the Bling Ring hit their stride, they were living their own version of celebrity life. They wore the stolen clothes, flaunted the jewelry, and partied like they belonged on the red carpet. But as any good heist story will tell you, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. By the time 2009 rolled around, the Bling Ring was running on pure adrenaline and an overinflated sense of invincibility. After all, they'd hit some of the biggest names in Hollywood without breaking a sweat. Paris Hilton's mansion had basically turned into their personal Costco, and they were treating designer handbags like party favors. But here's the thing about stealing from celebrities. They're always in the spotlight, and sooner or later, someone's going to notice when their favorite Rolex disappears. The first cracks in their operation started to show after the burglary at Audrina Patridge's house. Now, Audrina wasn't just any random celebrity. She was one of the stars of The Hills, a reality show where everything, including her wardrobe, was under constant scrutiny. When Audrina noticed her custom-fit jeans and jewelry missing, she checked her home security footage, and surprise! There were the Bling Ring teens, caught on camera, casually strolling through her house. Audrina posted the footage online, and suddenly, people were paying attention. For the first time, the group's operation wasn't invisible. But did that stop them? Of course not. Next on their list was Rachel Bilson, the actress best known for The OC. Over the course of several burglaries, they cleaned out her Hollywood Hills home, making off with hundreds of thousands of dollars in clothes, accessories, and jewelry. Fun fact, they stole so much that they couldn't even keep it all. They ended up selling some of it on Venice Beach, which is basically the criminal equivalent of dumping evidence at a garage sale. But the heist that really sealed their fate was at Orlando Bloom and Miranda Kerr's home. This was the jackpot, a $500,000 haul that included Bloom's collection of vintage Rolex watches, Kerr's lingerie, and enough high-end fashion to outfit a runway show. It was their boldest robbery yet, but it also turned out to be their sloppiest. Witnesses started coming forward, the police were piecing together connections, and the walls were closing in. And then there was Lindsay Lohan. To Rachel Lee, Lindsay wasn't just a target, she was the ultimate fashion icon. On August 23, 2009, the Bling Ring broke into Lohan's home and walked away with $130,000 worth of clothes and jewelry. But by this point, their faces were practically all over security footage, and the cops were closing in fast. One by one, the group members started making mistakes. Nick Prugo, who had always been the talker of the bunch, started feeling the pressure. Between the guilt, the fear of getting caught, and maybe just a touch of reality finally sinking in, he cracked. Nick went to the police and spilled everything: names, dates, how they picked their targets, the whole operation. With Nick's confession, the police had everything they needed to bring the Bling Ring down. The once invincible group of teens, who thought they were untouchable, suddenly found themselves in handcuffs. When the arrests started rolling in, the Bling Ring's house of cards collapsed faster than you could say Chanel No. 5. The police had everything: surveillance footage, stolen goods, and Nick Prugo's full confession. For a group that had operated in the shadows, their secrets were now being aired out like designer laundry on a public clothesline. The media latched onto the story like it was a new episode of Gossip Girl. The Bling Ring wasn't just a criminal case, it was a cultural phenomenon. Headlines screamed about the teen burglars who targeted Hollywood, and reporters couldn't get enough of the juicy details. Who were these suburban kids who had dared to steal from the rich and famous? How did they pull it off? And perhaps most importantly, what were they thinking? The trials became a media circus, with the Bling Ring's members each playing their own role in the drama. Nick Prugo, who had confessed to everything, portrayed himself as a reluctant participant who'd been swept up by Rachel Lee's influence. Rachel, the alleged mastermind, stayed silent, letting her lawyer do the talking. Alexis Nyers, who was also starring in a reality TV show at the time, Pretty Wild, became a tabloid favorite thanks to her tearful denials and courtroom antics. At one point, she famously claimed she had only stolen a pair of Lindsay Lohan's jeans, which, spoiler alert, the evidence strongly contradicted. In the end, the legal system wasn't exactly gentle with them. Nick Prugo was sentenced to a year in county jail, though he served less than 6 months. Rachel Lee, seen as the leader, was sentenced to 4 years but served just over a year. Alexis Nyers got 180 days in jail, of which she served 30, and several other members received probation or shorter sentences. But the punishment didn't stop at the courtroom. The group's actions left a lasting stain on their reputations. While some of them tried to move on, the stigma of being part of the Bling Ring followed them everywhere. And then there were the celebrities, who had to deal with the fallout of having their privacy violated in the most literal sense. Paris Hilton, for one, beefed up her security and even turned the ordeal into a talking point in interviews, calling it a wake-up call. The Bling Ring story didn't just fade away, though. It became a pop culture milestone. In 2013, Sofia Coppola turned the saga into a film, The Bling Ring, starring Emma Watson, which only cemented the group's place in history as the world's most bizarrely audacious celebrity burglars. Looking back, the whole thing feels almost surreal. A group of teenagers using social media and Google Maps to pull off million-dollar heists sounds like something out of a satire about modern fame. But that's what makes the Bling Ring so fascinating. It was a perfect storm of entitlement, obsession with celebrity culture, and just plain bad decisions. So, what's the takeaway here? Maybe it's this. If you're going to admire the lifestyles of the rich and famous, stick to window shopping, because stealing a Rolex might get you a few minutes of fame, but it'll also get you a front row seat in court, and maybe even a movie made about your very public downfall. Thanks for tuning in to Talescape. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories where truth is stranger than fiction, and often way more glamorous.